Welcome back to another episode of the ABCs of the Scary, Spooky, and Creepy. For those of you who are new, this is when the YouTube community joins us scare enthusiasts in learning the who, what, when, where, and why, not in that order, in the world of the supernatural, paranormal, and the unknown. I am your host, Jesse, and while we have a moment, if you press that like button, which I hope you do, which means I'm doing a better job at this, but also subscribe, become a scare enthusiast today. We are an accepting culture, and we would love any and everyone we can. One day we'll be in the hundreds of thousands, maybe even the millions, and I hope that you are a part of that journey as well. Now, the first movie that ever truly scared me when I was a kid was a movie by the name of Chucky. Yes, that's right. An evil doll possessed by a serial killer whose sole purpose was to get back into his human flesh form by killing a whole bunch of people. You see how that, right? And it was just the mere fact that it was like a little doll running around. You couldn't see it. It was very... Stealth skills, 9,000. Straight up, stealth skills, 9,000. But it was just the fact that a doll could do damage enough or even kill you. And that's when it caused, me to be a little fearful of dolls growing up. And things like that, but I'm also black, so we're paranoid about everything. Now, the definition of pediophobia is the unnatural dread of dolls. I mean, so irrational, so intense that you can talk about anything that's associated or not associated with dolls. You could talk about getting your niece a doll gift, or the antique porcelain dolls that Grandma used to collect, or even someone with the last name Doll. It doesn't matter. That's how severe it was. Well, is. I thought I had this, but I'm not that fearful of dolls, by far. And it sucks because it plays such a big aspect on mental health, which you guys will always hear me say. I mean, not always, but you always hear me mention mental health because it's very important. A lot of these incidences and stories that happen in the world of the paranormal and reality, or just in general, all deal with the mind. Now, how does pediophobia in children correlate? Well, that's where the trauma begins, and it's where it develops. Throughout history, it's, toys are made to be fun and, to be expressive. But not everyone receives toys in the same manner, especially when you're a child. How many times have you seen a child cry or seem distressed at the presence of a doll? I mean, I have seen it before, but I never made that correlation that it was a doll. I always thought that maybe they were hungry, their diaper needed to be changed, or, something weren't feeling too well. But it turns out that children are trying to separate fantasy from reality. See, what we don't think of is that dolls look and resemble human beings, but they don't act like them because they're a toy. Now, to a child, when you see a bigger human being that's interactive and moving around, and then you see a smaller one that they hand you to, you're not going to think it's a toy because you're still developing. You don't understand that yet. But instead, you have something that's looking directly at you that doesn't blink, that doesn't do anything but look right back at you. That can be terrifying to a kid, or to a toddler, or an infant. That could be very terrifying. And it only takes one time for the trauma to set in. And so that's why it's kind of important for that you understand, that, because you could be thinking it's something else and approaching it in a different manner, and it's not that. So parents, guardians, baby sisters, siblings, pay attention to that. It's very important. And if it's a very severe situation and it seems inconsolable, then definitely contact a medical and mental health professionals to help advise the best way to handle the situation. Now, going past the medical term, we're going to talk about dolls that actually do scare me. Now, like I said, I don't have pediophobia, because that's just the irrational, fear of just regular dolls. What I am fearful of is actually haunted and possessed dolls. And today we're going to talk about two of them. We're going to talk about Annabelle and Robert the doll. Now, the story of Annabelle begins with a nursing student by the name of Donna in 1970. She received a gift from her mother as a birthday present. And shortly after taking it home, her and her roommate Angie started experiencing her move different positions with her head, her arms, just being in awkward places at the same time. Now, eventually, these incidents would increase. She even one time left Annabelle on the couch while she headed to work. And then when she got back home, she found Annabelle in her room with the door closed. How could that happen? Her roommate wasn't there. It even got to the point to where they had to bring in a medium in order to conduct a seance to figure out what was going on. And when they did, they actually made contact with a young girl by the name of Annabelle Higgins, who claimed that she felt safe and liked the girls, and that's why she was there interacting with them. Now, if you remember my last episode, one of my rules were never believe everything you hear, especially during a seance. Why? Because there are demons and malevolent spirits that will lie to you in order to gain your trust to create an attachment. And that's exactly what Annabelle did. The spirit lied and created an attachment, and therefore things got even worse at the location. They would hear footsteps, noises, things would malfunction, and even got to the point to where a mutual friend of theirs by the name of Lou was strangled while being paralyzed at the same time. And he was unaware of what could have done it, and it scared him almost to death. That's insane. Do you see why I don't mess with no dolls? No. And next up, you have Robert the doll. Now, Robert the doll is nearly a 120-year-old doll dressed up as a young sailor that currently resides in Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Now, Robert Eugene Otto was a 4-year-old who moved to Key West, Florida with his family in 1904. Not having many friends, he made a friendship with a doll that his grandmother got in a store from Germany. That sucks. Where you gotta make a friend with a doll? That's gotta be bad. These two became so inseparable that Eugene never made effort to make real friends, which we all know through history is a very big problem. Other than Robert, he really had no other outlet, and you can't develop social skills and abilities through interactions with an inanimate object. Now, the crazy part is that sometimes it was said that they could hear conversations between him and the doll. Now, real quick, parents, this one goes to you. If you ever have, you hear your child having a conversation with a doll, and the doll's responding back, that should be a really big red flag. Like, really big red flag. And unfortunately, his parents didn't notice it. It was his aunt who came and noticed that this doll had a very intense hold on the young man. And she convinced them to lock the doll away in the attic. And then the very next day they found her dead. Like, what? That's why I don't mess with dolls like that, It was able to kill his aunt. Well, let me just say, allegedly do that. And it just shows you how messed up life is. Once again, it's a toy. It's supposed to bring joy and laughter and harmony and peace. Instead, it brings death, destruction, and chaos. Now, after today's episode, we obviously can tell how big of an impact dolls have, not on just on our lives, but on our pop, movie, entertainment culture, and even mental health culture as a whole. You know, if you know of any other doll stories or any other haunted dolls that I didn't discuss today, please drop a description in the comment box below. But if you also want the stories to both Annabelle and Robert the Doll, I will have the links in the description box. Now, with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share everywhere. Guys, we are growing at a steady pace. The views are going up, the watch time minutes are going up, so it means the product is doing better. And I'm very thankful because I'm working hard, in the paranormal investigations, the team is working hard. We're all just really busting our tails here for you guys, but also for us to grow in ourselves and be more confident and bank on ourselves. And so I just want to say thank you very much. And until next time, fellow skip enthusiasts. Peace.